better together, always by your side. We laugh together, sometimes we cry. We are better together, better together, always better together, better together. We are better together.
Welcome to the Better Together podcast, a space for stories, shared experiences and real connection. Each episode we explore the journeys of our community members, their growth, their challenges and the power of peer support. We know that sharing personal experiences takes courage, and we're grateful to all our members who have opened up in this space.
Hello and welcome to the Better Together podcast. My name is Gráinne. I am a member of Better Together, and in today's episode we'll be sharing our experiences and insights on the theme of hope and belonging. I'm joined by my friend Ciara, who's also a member of Better Together. So before we dive in, Ciara, would you like to introduce yourself?
I would, of course. Hi, Gráinne. My name is Ciara. I'm a proud member of the Better Together community. I'm delighted to be here taking part in the podcast.
Excellent. And myself also. So I'm delighted we get to have a chat about it. So Ciara, can you start by telling me a little bit about yourself and your journey with Better Together?
I found Better Together through the mental health services. So I had asked the team about a therapy that wasn't available through their services, but the nurse had listened to me and obviously thought that, you know, what Better Together can offer as a community might be appropriate for me and might help me. So he gave me the information and just said, you know, maybe give them a call and see how you get on. So I contacted Laura because her number was on the information leaflet. So she went through it all with me and she added me to the group. So I wasn't sure if it was the right place for me because my recovery is more on the mental health side of things. So I wasn't sure how I'd fit in, but it was a very welcoming community, and I found that, I suppose in all ways of life anyway, you don't have to have, you don't have to meet all of the criteria, that everyone isn't the same, everyone's different, but you can find the way that works for you within the community. And how about yourself, Gráinne? Like, what drew you to Better Together? You know, what was your first experience like, and have you any of like standout moments from it?
I suppose I was kind of at the end of my tether trying to find support services. From a mental health perspective, I was in one-to-one therapy, talk therapy, which I find massively beneficial. I suppose I'm coming at it from the mental health side of things as well. I was feeling really lonely and frustrated, and I found it difficult to find anyone I could communicate with regularly about what I was going through. And actually therapy was bringing up an awful lot of stuff. So when I was in the 1 hour therapy session, it was great, but from one end of the week to the next, I was dealing with a lot of demons and, you know, horrid feelings that I couldn't really avoid. And I suppose I was very dependent on one family member, which is my sister. She's incredible, but it was a massive weight on her. So I guess, like, I spoke to Advocacy Ireland to ask if they could offer any help, because I'd lost my job, I'd lost where I was renting, so I was kind of in dire straits at that point. And she couldn't offer any help, but actually she called me back and she said there's an online support group called Better Together. And I thought, no, online support wouldn't be for me because I'm a more in-person type girl. But I said, you know what, I'm just going to try it out. So I reached out online, and then Laura contacted me, I think it was like the next day, really, really like promptly. And I remember her saying to me, like, well, first of all, when I described what I was going through, like challenges with the mental health services, all the blockages with that and blockages with different departments, she kind of completely understood, if that makes sense. And she didn't really have to say much, but she just got it. And it was like speaking to my, my best friend or my sister. Like, so she told me that the service was on offer 365 days a year, pretty much. So I said, okay, I'll try it out. So that's how I came across it. And honestly, like, it's just been like a big hug joining the group. I'm sure you'll agree. Like, I mean, we'll talk more about it, but that's kind of how I came to find the group. And I couldn't believe how quickly I adapted to the online environment. And also, there's no dedication or like required. So Better Together offer morning and evening check-ins, as you know. You don't have to attend every one, but you know that if you have a really bad night, like you don't sleep or something happens, you know that the group will be running in the morning and you can check in, and vice versa with evening groups. So it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, and that's like that's one thing I do like about it as well, is that like when I'm unwell in myself, I kind of sometimes tend to cut everyone off, as in like I mightn't think, oh, I should be texting this person or I should be texting that person and checking in. I retreat into myself, so I don't do that. But the fact that the meetings are always there and they're always posted about, so it's like someone is reaching out to you to give you a hand, and then you know you're in the place there where you're like, okay, yeah, I need to take that hand now. Do you know?
100%. And that's it. Like, I'm sure you would agree in that sometimes you'll drift away from the group. Now, I'm part of the group since summer, so we'll say like 8 months, but sometimes you drift away from the group, no matter, depending on what's going on in your personal life, but you'll always float back and you will always be welcome back.
Yeah.
We've both kind of been there. We talked about that before. And that's what's incredible, like, because they'll always take you back no matter what.
Yeah, it is like that. I had joined it earlier on in the year last year, and I drifted away from it, and it was a time when I really could have done with the support, but because I was so overwhelmed by everything, I had left it. But then when I was kind of feeling more, you know, willing to engage and willing to look for help and community, I just reached out to see could I join again, and there was no questions asked, there was no issue or anything. It was like I'd never left, in the best possible way.
And you know, that's what I love about it as well, is when you log on, everyone knows your name.
Yeah.
Like the peer support facilitator, as in, like, probably important to say that all of the facilitators have gone through their own challenges in their own personal life, so they have plenty of experience to be able to relate to everyone else.
Yeah.
And they will always know your name. They'll always remember your general background. So they might ask you something about your family or how things are going with such a thing that you're working on. And that really reels me in. Or they'll know, like I'm a singer. I love writing poetry. So they'll always ask questions about that. Or, so Gráinne, it appears you're not in great form this evening. What's one thing you can do this evening to help pick you up a little bit? And they might say, do you remember you loved watching Netflix, or you loved doing this, or listening to music, or going for a walk in nature? They always remember.
Yeah.
I love that about the group. It's so personal.
Yeah. And while you're on the topic then, like, do you have any songs, books or quotes that do inspire you?
Well, I'm not much a reader, but I do love music so much. But I'd say probably a quote that sticks with me would be, I don't know who exactly it's by, but when it's dark, look for stars. And when it rains, look for rainbows. I've spent times standing outside, staring up at the sky, wondering what it's all about and when things are going to get better. Or on a completely gloomy day when it doesn't stop raining. Ireland loves the rain. You know, I'd always look out for rainbows. And that's kind of, it's always kind of for me about trying to turn things around. If something feels like absolute rubbish, how can I turn it around to say, well, okay, what am I grateful for? I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for a place to lay my head. I'm grateful for food to eat. Or simple things like friends, that sort of stuff, like, is, you know. Anyway, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you, how do you think being part of Better Together has shaped your recovery and your personal growth?
Well, look, it's made me feel connected. When there's times I might distance myself from everyone that I love because I'm just trying to get through the day. And just the fact that it's always there, that you can always, like, you can message at, you know, within the day in the time frames. You can log into either the morning or the evening, and then some nights then they do the theme nights.
Yeah.
Which can, you know, you mightn't really be feeling 100%, but like it could jazz up your evening just by listening in, and it just puts a whole different spin on it.
Yeah.
So you could end your day on a positive note where you mightn't have felt so positive up to that point. Everyone is there, like people who log into the meetings. There's some people who mightn't log into the meetings but will be on the group, and like every contribution is valued. Everything is important. So like there's no pressure on anyone to partake in anything. It's not like obligatory to join every meeting, but your presence is so welcomed when you do.
It is great, like as you say, like you could be in the middle of something, whether it's walking to the shops or doing the shopping, and you could have the earphones in, you're listening in, which means you're still connecting even if you're not sharing with the group. And what does that connection mean for you?
Well, it means that I'm not on my own at the end of the day. Like there is someone there if I need to join in, if I need to even just like that, like you said, if you're doing something and you just pop the headphones in and you listen to other people, it gives a sense of belonging even when you might feel so alone. And then you mightn't feel like speaking to anyone, but as the conversation flows in the meeting, you might have something then that you're there going, yeah, do you know what? I actually can contribute to this and I feel up to it now.
Great stuff.
There's no, like if you don't get to that point, that's okay too. You can stay just listening. But if you feel like you can contribute, you can contribute.
And you mentioned the themed nights.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a bit more about that?
Well, the most recent one would be like they do Feel Good Friday. So we can listen to, sometimes we pick a theme earlier on in the day of like music to fit that theme. I don't think we had one, so we just went with favourites. So
brilliant.
we just picked our favourite songs. It's an easy one for me. Silver Springs by Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, fabulous. Oh, you can't beat Fleetwood Mac.
I know, I know.
My favourite theme night myself, mind you, I've done the Friday night feeling check-in a couple of times and it's just like weird and wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, like I've danced around my bedroom, listened to songs over this group check-in and it's just amazing. And also you've everyone's suggestions. So like you're learning new music or you're hearing really old songs from the past. But my favourite probably theme night is the Monday nights when we do the Creative Heart.
Oh, yes.
In Creative Heart, we choose perhaps 5 words and then we ask ourselves to write poetry framed around those 5 words. What the facilitator will do is they'll ask us what kind of music they want on in the background. So it could be nice relaxing piano music, it could be like seaside music, it could be anything. And then we'll take about 15 minutes to write poetry based around those words. And you don't have to be a poet, you don't have to be really good at writing. It's just to give yourself that chance to like open up your mind a little bit and challenge it a little bit and express yourself, because it's not necessarily about who writes the best poetry, but it's about awakening and using our voices, you know. And honestly, I forgot to say earlier on that when I went on the website when I was first looking up Better Together, I found a section that had poetry on it and I read the poem and you know, I kind of felt at the time that I was in the middle of a storm, and this poem completely resonated with me. It was written by a lady in the group and she is so talented in writing how she sees things, and honestly that was what made me feel like I would fit in. And I love that there is such a massive creative element to the group.
Yeah.
Because I think when you go through hardship in life or something really challenging, you are, whether you like it or not, are sometimes faced with sitting in a black hole and you have to figure a way to get out of that black hole. And I think like when you come back and the daylight and the sunshine starts coming in, it's like nothing you've ever seen before because you're just like, I can't believe I'm seeing this. Like everything just looks different in a really good way.
It is. It's like seeing it for the first time.
Yeah.
Because it's like through the eyes of colour and not just the black.
Yes, exactly. So it's really nice that everybody's creative ability, and every single human being has ability to create. So everyone's creative ability is encouraged in so many different ways. And also like when they bring speakers on and, you know, we get to hear from experts in different fields. Anyway, I'm babbling, but yeah.
Well, that even brings us on. Like this episode focuses on hope and belonging. Like, so, I mean, you've talked a little bit about what that theme means to you. So how have you experienced it within Better Together with the, like you were saying, with the Creative Heart meetings? Like
I mentioned a little bit earlier, my own journey has been in the mental health sphere. So 7 years ago, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and that was probably the most traumatic time of my life. Before that, I was a big style go-getter. You would never stop me. Like when I was 18, I raised money and went to Africa to work with children in a little village in South Africa.
Oh, wow.
When I was 19, I did the same and went to Uganda. Like I've travelled an awful lot. I've lived abroad, and so was always super independent and very driven. So when I was 27 and I got that diagnosis, like I would have had psychosis, which led me into A&E in hospital, and I was in there for a couple of weeks, and I remember parts of it, but also I'm not fully sure how I got there. But at the time they would have said to me, this is quite a typical age for this to happen, around the 27 mark. So I have to say, like, after the psychosis and coming out of that and then discharged from hospital, it was like starting from scratch. I had no confidence, I had no motivation. Also, like, friendships were kind of, rocky because they didn't understand what was going on with me, because I didn't understand what was going on with me. And of course, family members were worried sick and didn't know fully how to respond, but they absolutely did their best. So I suppose, like, when you're going through all of that, like when your mind checks out, you don't really know what to cling on to. And I did not know who I was anymore. So that's a very alone place to feel and to be. When you're in that space, it's like there isn't really an awful lot of hope, and you really don't feel like you belong because you've been stripped away from career or passion or what you love, So I've kind of spent the last 7 years trying to figure out who the hell I am again, who Gráinne is, like. And I would not give it back for anything because I've learned an incredible amount. But I suppose belonging is not something that I have felt in those 7 years, because I felt really isolated, because I was like, I'm really weird. I have this thing. I don't know. It's unpredictable. I don't know how it affects my life going forward. And trauma will do that. Like, trauma will absolutely shake you to the core. So when I kind of had another kind of a blast there 8 months ago, I was again thinking, like, I feel disconnected from people. I feel disconnected from myself. I really needed support. I was going to my therapy, but I needed something more than that. I didn't have a sense of community. And Better Together has, oh my God, welcomed me with open arms, made me feel like I've had this, like, tribe for my whole life. Not too long after I found the group, there was a togethering. Yeah, so the togetherings encourage people who are a part of the online community to come together and meet in real life. And I hadn't met anyone from the group in real life, so I was like, oh my goodness, there's a great opportunity. Because for me, it was important to feel like they were actually real instead of just always talking online. And it was that day when I met them, I thought, I've actually found my tribe. I rang my sister and I said, I think I've found my tribe. And she was so pleased because she has been such a massive support, and she just really wanted me to have that extra bit of people to lean on,
Yeah, like it nearly sounds like you were home.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, because you know yourself, nobody will understand or be able to try and understand
Unless they've been there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And like, listen, like we talk to some of our peers who are going through, like, their current challenge might be addiction, or their current challenge might be that they're in psychiatry, or they're in recovery from being in psychiatry, or who knows, or they've had a trauma. And regardless of the specific event that they're going through, we can all still relate, because it's that sense of empathy that you learn because you yearn for it yourself.
Yeah. You can offer it to someone else because that's what you need too.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like when you open up to someone and you get that sense of connection, you know what someone else will need.
Yeah.
When they're reaching out, like, so.
They're reaching out they might not be reaching out, but you might even know that, well, I think they need a little bit of support.
Absolutely. It's important to say as well, it's not all about checking into group and talking about your own mindset or where you're at right now, because I would typically learn a lot more by listening to what everyone else is sharing on that particular morning or evening. And honest to God, if ever you needed a bit of inspiration, you get it on that group.
Yeah, everyone's bringing their own story and what they've overcome to get as far as they have to join Better Together.
Yeah. So tell me, what is a phrase or a mantra that helps you through difficult moments, Ciara?
Well, I actually got mine tattooed onto my wrist. Yeah.
You did?
I did. This too shall pass.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It sometimes sounds a little bit kind of hokey, but it does. It everything does pass. And like, not only that, I have another one that I had on a fridge magnet that I got in America. So it's everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Yeah,
I
that's
love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fabulous. Can I ask about your tattoo though?
Yes.
Because I have thought about, I don't have any tattoos
Okay.
at the moment.
Yet.
But I have thought about it, and I often wonder, like, if I had something meaningful, say, just like you on my wrist, to kind of give me that little reminder, like if I'm in the middle of a freaking breakdown or something, listen, Gráinne, like, it's all going to be all right, don't fret. But does it help?
Yes and no. So it does, as in, yeah, obviously if I'm okay enough to look at it and be like, okay, yes, it will pass. But if I was in the height of an upset, strong emotions,
Yeah.
I mightn't think to look at it. So
Okay.
I mightn't take that into account at the time.
Fair. It just depends.
Yeah, it does just depend, but I do love it. And I would definitely get more. I'll be a little book by the end of it all.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see the rest of them. What have you, in your opinion, learned about yourself through your journey?
Well, I wouldn't have thought of it first off, but like, I am strong and I am resilient. I've gone through very, very, very tough times. I've gotten through them. As another quote says, you've survived 100% of your bad days. So that's, that is a good percentage.
It's a great result.
Like, even with Better Together, I'm just so grateful to have found it, to have the access to the community support and the peer support of people who understand. That's not something you find too often. It's not something that comes as easily as it should.
Yeah.
So, like, there is a real sense of belonging within Better Together that I think is invaluable. Have you anything that you can think that would bring you joy no matter what?
Oh, music, like 100%.
Yeah.
I have no doubt, no matter how low it gets, if I have music playing in the background, it'll be like my pulse, It'll remind me that I'm still breathing, like there is still life. I'm not big on silence. To be honest with you, nature is really important for me. I don't know what it is, but when I'm out in nature, I get probably most of the answers to my big questions, and the small ones too. Like, I wouldn't be a big city person, so nature's really important for me. I grew up in nature pretty much. The other side though is connection. As far as I'm concerned, human beings are built to connect. We're not supposed to be disconnected. We're not supposed to talk to each other when we're sat beside each other through screens. That's not how it's supposed to work. So that's why I suppose Better Together is so important, because the reminder is there every single day when you get the WhatsApp. Oh, group is starting at 9:30. Do you know, like, that connection's so important, and we don't get the chance as much anymore. So I would say music, nature and connection are three really important things for me. What about you?
I suppose for me, like, joy would be with my children first and foremost. Just spending time with them, like seeing the the happy look on their face, with the little things. Like, I do like music as well, so I'll always have some kind of noise going in the background, whether it's like a radio, a podcast, music, anything like that. But even just the simple things, like just spending time playing board games is our latest thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
What kind of board games?
We have Dobble and Uno and Game of Life, Monopoly,
Oh, I love
Cluedo. Just,
Wow.
real kind of, some of it is old school and some of it is new to me. And it's, it's a joy to play the games and just do the little things, because it is the little things. The little things are the big things.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's your connection again.
Yeah, it
Do you
is.
know?
Yeah. And then, like, say it is the connection, but then, like, sometimes if I need to reset, so like when I'm on my own totally, I would like to just go to bed and just close my eyes and have like a podcast or music or a documentary in the background and just breathe. That's, though I like that little bit of solace, but then I do like the option of coming back into humanity with the connection and the community.
Yeah. Do you know, I forgot as well, when you asked me like what kind of helps me get through, is like gratitude, practicing gratitude. I could never master it. I was like, I don't know how to do this. I can't get into the routine of it, and I could never practice mindfulness. So when you're meditating for like 60 seconds or 5 minutes, like when some people can just completely switch off, I'd say within the first 3 weeks of me joining Better Together, I was meditating. I was completely switching off. My mind was calm. It was incredible. And one other thing that I loved as well is, do you know the way sometimes in the morning check-ins, we'll do a gratitude meditation, and then they'll say, now let us know what 2 or 3 things you're grateful for this morning. And what I found was I was starting my day off with, I have an abundance of this, that, and another thing. So I wasn't starting off on negative thoughts. I was starting off with a basket full of lovely things. Honest to God, there are so many things I've learned through this experience. I genuinely hope it's a long term, like 10, 20 years, that I'll be with, and that the group will be available to us, because I don't know about you, but in my 7, 8 years of trying to find support services and all of that stuff, Better Together is number one.
Yeah, it's something that it shouldn't be rare.
No.
It shouldn't be rare, but it is. But as they say, what's rare is wonderful.
Exactly. The model for it is superb. My sister works as a speech and language therapist, so she's in primary care, and she actually has passed on Better Together to some of the mental health services there. And I'm delighted about that. When I speak to my mental health service, they didn't know anything about Better Together, even though it started in the HSE. That kind of baffles me, but also it's important that we kind of spread the word. Sure, what kind of age group do we have in the group?
It vastly varies, I think.
Like, you're probably talking 19 up to 70s?
Yeah.
Yeah. Male, female,
everything.
Yeah.
Everyone.
So, Ciara, it has been such a pleasure talking about our experiences with the fabulous Better Together, which it really is an honour to be part of such a fantastic and supportive group. I was thinking maybe if we finish up with this last question to each other, how do you hold on to hope even in difficult times?
That is a very good question. And I think for me, it kind of comes back to this too shall pass. Maybe not in those words exactly, but nothing is forever. So I know that's the good times as well. But like when you're going through awful times, it's not going to last forever. And if you can get through that really, really, really tough time of strong emotions, if you can like make your way a little bit to the shore, and sometimes you need the help, so like someone throws you a lifeline, like Better Together. If you can get to the shore, you're going to be fine. It's not easy, but you get there. And
That's lovely.
Thank you.
I'm picturing a beach now.
Me too.
Walking through the lovely turquoise water, arriving on the sand.
And how would you hold on to hope? Like, 'cause it's not always easy.
No, I still have like bad days or bad weeks, or, you know, I might have a very minor relapse where I'm just totally depressed. But the hope, honest to God, probably has a lot to do with my experience, in that I have come through so much. I've learned so many skills to cope with whatever is thrown at me. And like, honestly, there's been times I'd sit on the side of the bed and I'd just feel like, oh, this is just the pits. Like, I'm so over this. And then something would creep in really quickly and say, you have been through this and a lot worse, and you are absolutely going to be fine. This is not threatening. It's just a little thought or a little feeling of sadness or hopelessness. But as my granny would always say, keep going. The best has yet to come.
And that's lovely. It's a lovely thing to have. And there's a tattoo for you.
To be continued.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ciara. That was fabulous.
Thank you.
So thank you for joining us on our Better Together podcast.
Thank you very much. And the theme was hope and belonging, and I hope we were able to get that across, how important it is and how much it happens within Better Together.
That's it for this episode of the Better Together podcast. Thank you for listening and for being part of this conversation. If something resonated with you today, we'd love for you to keep the conversation going. We invite you to visit the feedback section of our website, where we'd love to hear your comments, your questions, or your ideas for future episodes. You can find out more about us by visiting better-together.ie. You're welcome to join us too, or follow us on Instagram and Facebook at bettertogether.support. If you or someone you know needs support, please reach out to the Samaritans on free phone 116 123 or text hello to 50808. Recovery is possible. We are always better together. We'll see you next time.
Better together, always by your side. We laugh together, sometimes we cry. We are better together, better together. Together